Welcome to our podcast on expanding your English vocabulary together.
Hello everyone, and thank you for tuning in as we explore 6 expressive words today.
Today we'll cover the words spite, spiteful, spread, values, vulgar, and worship to help new viewers become aware of these vocabs in our podcast. Spite is both a noun and a verb.
As a noun, it means a desire to hurt, annoy, or offend someone. As a verb, it means to deliberately hurt, annoy, or offend someone.
He acted out of pure spite when he canceled the meeting.
She refused to help her colleague simply to spite him.
The graffiti was painted in spite of the neighborhood watch.
He spread rumors in spite of knowing they were false.
She broke the vase in spite of her better judgment.
He ignored her calls just to spite her persistence.
Their divorce was finalized in spite of mutual friends' pleas.
She blocked him on social media out of spite.
He skipped the rehearsal and watched her fail, driven by spite.
She altered the report in spite of her company's integrity.
The prank was pulled in spite of the principal's warnings.
He sent the harsh email in spite of knowing it hurt her.
She refused to attend the wedding out of spite.
He trashed the proposal in spite of its merits.
They toyed with her plans purely for spite.
He ended the friendship in spite after a small disagreement.
She deleted his files in spite of their shared work.
He shouted complaints at the concert in spite of the crowd.
She refused the promotion just to spite her boss.
He gave her the worst seat in spite of her seniority.
She made the change in spite of the guidelines.
He refused to apologize, letting spite guide him.
She shredded his contract out of spite.
He scrolled through her posts in spite of the ban.
She voted against the measure just to spite the committee.
He delayed the delivery in spite of customer urgency.
She painted over his mural out of spite.
He criticized her speech purely out of spite.
She changed her tune in spite of her earlier praise.
He erased the database out of spite.
She kept silent in spite of knowing the answer.
He withheld support just to spite the organization.
She changed her name in spite of her heritage.
He sabotaged the event out of spite.
She withheld the key in spite of the guest's need.
He refused to share information in spite of protocol.
She pivoted the design in spite of client requests.
He scoffed at her idea in spite of its logic.
She canceled the service in spite of quality concerns.
He walked away smiling, filled with spite.
Spiteful is an adjective.
It means showing or caused by a desire to harm, annoy, or offend someone.
His spiteful words cut deeper than expected.
She left a spiteful note in his locker.
The artist made a spiteful caricature of his rival.
He cast a spiteful glare across the table.
They spread a spiteful rumor about her promotion.
Her spiteful tweets caused an online uproar.
The spiteful review hurt the chef's reputation.
He lodged a spiteful complaint with HR.
She made a spiteful purchase just to irritate him.
His spiteful refusal embarrassed everyone.
The comment was so spiteful, it left her in tears.
He acted spitefully by defacing her artwork.
The advisor's spiteful memo sabotaged the project.
She whispered spiteful gossip under her breath.
A spiteful prank went too far at the party.
He made a spiteful gesture when she entered the room.
She wrote a spiteful email at midnight.
His spiteful actions destroyed their trust.
She spread spiteful lies about her former partner.
He hurled spiteful insults during the debate.
Her tone turned spiteful when corrected.
He left a spiteful message on her voicemail.
She chose a spiteful revenge over reconciliation.
His spiteful act sabotaged the entire concert.
She delivered a spiteful toast at the wedding.
He posted spiteful comments on her blog.
A spiteful lawsuit drained her finances.
He gave a spiteful performance on purpose.
Her spiteful review tanked his small business.
He made a spiteful cameo in her film.
She wrote a spiteful remark in the margins.
His spiteful prank crashed her laptop.
She sang a spiteful verse about infidelity.
He delivered a spiteful critique at the gallery.
She bound her spiteful thoughts into a poem.
His spiteful actions backfired spectacularly.
She left a spiteful post on his social media.
He answered with a spiteful question.
She carried a spiteful grudge for years.
His spiteful smirk revealed his intent.
Spread is both a verb and a noun.
As a verb, it means to extend over a large area or range. As a noun, it refers to the extent or rate of something's expansion.
They spread the map across the table to plan the route.
The wildfire spread quickly through the dry forest.
She spread mulch around the garden beds.
Rumors spread like wildfire in the office.
He spread the cream cheese evenly on the bagel.
News of the merger spread across the industry.
She spread blankets on the lawn for the picnic.
The virus spread across the globe in months.
He spread the net to catch the fish.
The stain spread across her white shirt.
She spread the word about the charity event.
The frosting spread smoothly over the cake.
He spread his wings in preparation for flight.
The wildfire suppressants failed, and the fire spread further.
She spread the seeds evenly in the field.
Panic spread when the lights went out.
He spread the rumors maliciously.
Joy spread through the crowd at the announcement.
She spread the cloth out to dry.
The pathogen spread unnoticed for weeks.
He spread the news by posting it online.
The cream spread better at room temperature.
She spread the flyers around the neighborhood.
Laughter spread across the audience.
He spread the sand to fill the gaps.
The disease spread rapidly among unvaccinated groups.
She spread the picnic out under the old oak tree.
The new technology spread quickly in developing markets.
He spread peanut butter and jam on his toast.
Excitement spread as the concert time neared.
She spread clothes out for sorting.
The news of his retirement spread throughout the firm.
He spread the tarp to protect against rain.
The fragrance spread through the bakery.
She spread fertilizer to boost growth.
Innovation spread faster than regulations.
He spread his portfolio risk across multiple assets.
Warmth spread through her when she saw the gift.
She spread holiday cheer with decorations.
The wildfire spread was halted by firefighters.
Values is a noun plural.
It refers to a person's or society's principles or standards of behavior, one's judgment of what is important in life.
She instilled strong values of honesty and respect in her children.
He chose a company whose values align with environmental protection.
Their family values include hard work and compassion.
She quizzes job candidates on their core values.
He wrote a code outlining the firm's values on inclusion.
They debated whether tradition or innovation should be their primary values.
She wears a pin that represents her values of freedom.
He felt at home with roommates sharing similar values.
Community values often shape local policies.
She criticized companies that abandon their values for profit.
He posted his personal values on his social profile.
They taught students to reflect on their values annually.
She declined the offer because it conflicted with her values.
He wrote an essay on cultural values and globalization.
Their wedding vows included promises reflecting their values.
She framed the company's values in the lobby.
He admired a leader who upheld values under pressure.
They reviewed their values at every team retreat.
She worried that technology might erode human values.
He added transparency to his list of personal values.
Local values sometimes clash with national laws.
She defined success by her core values, not wealth.
He published a manifesto highlighting civic values.
They organized a workshop on reinforcing workplace values.
She decorated her home with symbols of her values.
He shared his values in a TEDx talk.
Community leaders debated shifting social values.
She updates her life goals annually based on her values.
He refused gifts that contradicted his personal values.
They painted a mural capturing local values.
She prioritized values over short-term gains.
He studied how religious values influence legislation.
She checks that her investments reflect her values.
He gave a speech on timeless moral values.
They selected a mentor whose values they admired.
She refused to date anyone misaligned with her values.
He practiced daily affirmations reinforcing his values.
They documented company values in the onboarding guide.
She measured success by how well she lived her values.
He wrote a journal entry listing his core values.
Vulgar is an adjective.
It describes something lacking sophistication or good taste, coarse or rude.
He used a vulgar gesture that shocked the audience.
She avoided vulgar humor in her family's presence.
The restaurant's decor was deemed too vulgar by critics.
He criticized the film's vulgar language.
She found the commercial tacky and vulgar in its appeal.
He refused to wear clothing with vulgar slogans.
The graffiti was a vulgar depiction on the school wall.
She was offended by the vulgar tone of his voicemail.
The novel includes vulgar scenes that some readers skip.
He asked the comedian to tone down the vulgar bits.
The singer's choreography was criticized as vulgar.
She closed the tab after seeing the vulgar image online.
The cartoon drew ire for its vulgar satire.
He warned his children against vulgar content on TV.
The party decorations were garish and vulgar.
She preferred refined music over vulgar beats.
He apologized for the vulgar remark he made.
The ad's vulgar appeal backfired on the brand.
She blocked the site after a vulgar pop-up appeared.
He criticized the politician's vulgar insults.
The costume was over the top and vulgar.
She toned down her outfit to avoid appearing vulgar.
The play included intentionally vulgar dialogue.
He dismissed the decorations as overly showy and vulgar.
The chat room was full of vulgar usernames.
She banned vulgar comments from her page.
The art installation shocked visitors with its vulgar shapes.
He disapproved of vulgar dance routines on the show.
She warned that certain words are considered vulgar in polite company.
He muted the program to avoid vulgar lyrics.
The graffiti artist argued it was urban, not vulgar.
She refined the script to remove vulgar jokes.
The clip went viral for its shockingly vulgar punchline.
He described the advertisement as both clever and vulgar.
She stepped away from the performance, uncomfortable with its vulgar themes.
He grew tired of vulgar memes dominating his feed.
She defended the film's realism despite accusations of vulgarity.
He refused to endorse the brand after its vulgar campaign.
She taught her class the difference between edgy and vulgar.
That's how vulgar warns us about the limits of public decency.
Worship is both a verb and a noun.
As a verb, it means to show reverence and adoration for a deity or something regarded with great respect. As a noun, it refers to the act of worship.
They gather every Sunday for worship at the cathedral.
He continues to worship his music legend as his idol.
The ancient Greeks would worship gods on mountaintops.
She found worship in the beauty of nature each morning.
Fans often worship celebrities with fervent devotion.
He attended the worship service with his grandfather.
They worship at home when they can't reach the temple.
She wrote a poem on the worship of art and beauty.
Pilgrims travel far to take part in worship ceremonies.
He felt worship for the mentors who guided him.
They worshipped the sun in ancient ceremonies.
She led the choir in worship songs every week.
The novel describes the worship practices of a lost civilization.
He spoke of his worship for his grandmother's wisdom.
Attendees stood in silent worship at dawn.
She creates sculptures for the worship hall.
They worshiped their heroes in sports arenas.
He felt the worship atmosphere in the concert hall.
She described worship as both personal and communal.
They scheduled daily worship times during the retreat.
He wrote lyrics for worship songs in his spare time.
She felt a sense of worship gazing at the stars.
They built a shrine dedicated to their chief worship deity.
He teaches children about worship traditions globally.
She preserves relics used in historic worship rites.
He called the museum a worship of human creativity.
They worshipped music artists like living deities.
She organizes worship nights at the university.
He found worship in the rhythmic beating of drums.
She felt a spiritual worship during the sunrise service.
They worship freedom through their art installations.
He saw worship reflected in the folks' chants.
She brought incense for the temple's worship rituals.
He published a study on modern worship trends.
They performed worship dances around the fire.
She felt condolences offered in heartfelt worship prayers.
He argued that true worship transcends doctrine.
She recorded hymns for the virtual worship service.
They teach that worship is loving service to others.
That's how worship captures reverence, devotion, and community.
That concludes our deep dive into these 6 essential English expressions and words.
We hope you feel confident using spite, spiteful, spread, values, vulgar, and worship in your conversations.
Thank you for listening, and we look forward to sharing more vocabulary insights next time.
Goodbye and keep practicing every day.